3, 2.
Hi guys! So I thought what I would do today is just talk about some of the purchases that we made, which I think are good at this stage of his life, 11 weeks, and the purchases that just don't really get used that much. So this is a really impromptu video, so I might forget a lot of things, but I just thought it might help some of you ladies out there to decide what things to buy for your newborn. Okay, so the best thing I think we bought, and my husband agrees, is this swing. This swing was $50 on Gumtree, and I really wish we had it from early on because he absolutely loves it. If he has any crying or anything and he's been fed, he's been changed, he's just inconsolable, we can put him in this swing and he will usually stop immediately. No joke, it is really amazing. It doesn't always work, but most of the time it works. And it has awesome functions. It can play tranquil sounds and it has like 5 other songs. You can even adjust the volume, which I just found out the other day. The only downside, which we haven't really experienced yet, is it's big and it takes, I think, C or D batteries, which apparently cost a fair bit. And yeah, we haven't changed the batteries yet though, but hey, when we do, it's going to be worth it because he absolutely loves this thing. The only drawback, apart from what I've said, is that apparently it doesn't really cater for older babies. So most people say that once the baby's long, like about 5 or 6 months old, then they're too big for it, which is a real bummer. So this is a real sort of newborn item. So I thought that I would tell you that. He also really loves the rocking chair, so the ottoman and the feeding chair. And I have to say, it's been a godsend for me and for my back and for my sanity and for letting my husband be able to sleep while I'm feeding and all of that sort of thing. So I would definitely say that the glider and ottoman are a really valuable purchase. He also just loves the gliding motion. He loves sitting on the rocker, and it's just done wonders for my back. So that's been amazing. I would say that the co-sleeper we got the other day is okay. I kind of wish we had it as a newborn though, because we only just got it the other day and he's already almost too big for it. But it's been really good because it's really transportable. It even folds away. It would be great to take to a mate's place if you were to be sleeping over or something like that. It fits on the couch, it fits in his cot, and it can fit next to me on the bed. So it's very versatile. So I probably would have erred against buying a bassinet, and I probably would have just gone for the co-sleeper, to be perfectly honest. I feel like the bassinets are kind of a waste of space. We have 2 of them and the one in our bedroom hardly ever gets used. So does the secondary bouncer that we have in there, although that was given as a gift. So even though we got all of this stuff really cheap and secondhand, I still feel like the bassinets were kind of a waste. He does use the one in the lounge room a lot though, and it is kind of convenient because you don't always have to bend down to pick him up. Like, it's a good height and it's on wheels, the one in the lounge room, so that's good. The sleep position is actually good. I thought that they wouldn't be, but they're fairly useful for keeping him in position and that sort of thing. So yeah, I wasn't sure at first, but they've turned out to be really good. The dummies are fantastic. At first I was really apprehensive about using a dummy or a pacifier because I thought it would cause nipple confusion, but he absolutely loves these things. As long as they're the right sort of shape and brand. He really likes the event ones and the one that was given to us at the hospital. But our neighbour gave us one which he hates. I think it's the shape of the teat or something he just does not like. Another thing that's kind of useless at the moment is any form of toys. He just does not understand them. He doesn't look at mobiles or anything like that. They're just totally a waste of space right now. But, you know, I assume that when he grows up they'll be good. I really actually am surprised, but the nappies that we got for $2 a packet at right price actually have only leaked 1 time, and we've been using them for like 2 weeks, so I really would actually recommend those. They're really, really, really cheap and they work super well. Although it wasn't a purchase for him, my laptop's been amazing for being able to watch things while he's cluster feeding. It's really portable, it's quick to turn on, so yeah, I would recommend having a laptop or an iPad or some form of portable entertainment. I mean, I think it would be kind of hard reading a book while you're breastfeeding, but that's just my opinion. I think that burp cloths are definitely a thing to do, except the ones I got are a bit too small, I have to admit. I would have rather just got some hand towels. I think buying hand towels would be much more practical than tiny burp rags. So yeah, I think books are good. He's seeming to enjoy some books now, so those are good. Definitely that's my husband. Definitely the tummy time positioner helps him and stops him from just giving up so easily. So I'd definitely recommend a tummy time positioner, and even the mat, you know, it saves him just being on the regular floor, which means you don't have to vacuum as often, and it even fits in the cot, so that's I have mixed feelings about the baby bath. I've been using it a little bit, although it's really, really heavy and hard when it's full to fill up and let it go and all that sort of thing. And yeah, so to be honest with you, half the time I've been just using the sink. He's still small enough that he fits in the sink, and I found that if I put him in the bathroom sink, he does not have any chance of being drowned because it's so shallow that the water doesn't even get anywhere near his head. So that is a bonus as well, and he fits, like, obviously he's a bit big for it, but it means that there's less of a risk of him drowning or anything like that, so that's good. And I just use a jug to wash his head with and stuff and pour water on him. So yeah, that's actually pretty good. I don't know if we needed the baby bath, to be honest, but I assume when he gets bigger, you know, obviously it'll be a good transition into the main bath, and you can put it in the main bath and all that sort of thing. Any kind of mobile or things that make noise tends to calm him down a little bit, so those are quite good. It's not going to stay very long, is it? Okay. I think for the next baby I will not get so many onesies with feet. I think that onesies with feet are kind of silly because he grew out of them so fast and made them all redundant really, really fast. So I would rather just get the rompers without the feet and just add socks if needed. I think that's a way more practical way to go. I definitely think that the mountain buggy pram is a good investment. I think that it's very diverse, it's easy to maneuver most of the time. Yeah, it's pretty safe. It was quite a good investment. Obviously the car seat, without that we couldn't take him anywhere, so duh, you should get a car seat. So far I haven't needed any nipple shields or anything, so I only got the one, but so far it's been kind of redundant. And beyond the first month I haven't really used nipple cream or anything. The baby sling, he liked it the first day, but I think it was just like new and different. But since then he hasn't really liked it that much, so I don't know if we'll get much use out of it. However, I think that it would be better for an actual newborn to start in it. And for any baby who's clingy. And it's even versatile after he's grown out of it, because you could, like, I don't know, go letterboxing with it or whatever you wanted to do. You could put stuff in it. My husband's even thinking of taking it with his photography stuff. So it's actually versatile in that. I think that singlets are actually overrated. We haven't really been using singlets the last few months. I really don't think they're that necessary. They're just an extra layer to put on and take off.
Maybe in winter?
Maybe in winter, but definitely not for summer. I bought a lot of singlets thinking, oh, it's summer, it's going to be really hot, but to be honest with you, I haven't really used singlets that much. So for a newborn born in summer, singlets aren't actually that great. So don't go and buy a whole bunch. And especially the singlets that are really long. I was told initially that they were really good, but I just find that they just get in the way too much and they bunch up and yeah, not good. Baby hats and mittens and stuff like that, it's sort of take it or leave it. I think obviously when they're like 1 to 2 weeks old, they're pretty important. Because the baby can scratch himself if you're not game enough to cut their nails, and they lose all the heat from the top of their head. So in the first 2 weeks, they're pretty essential. But after that, unless it's really cold or the baby's exposed outside too much, I really don't see the need for that sort of thing. Stuff. I bought 3 kinds of breast pumps. I bought the Avent Electric, the Avent Manual, and this is a Medela Mini breast pump. And I like the Medela Mini breast pump, although since I've been hand expressing, it hasn't really been that useful. It doesn't seem to get that much out anymore. I'm not exactly sure why. But now I just find that hand expressing works a lot better. But for a time, for a few months, the Medela breast pump was actually quite good. And sometimes I can get stuff out of it, but it's kind of rare.
Pumping.
Oh. The other thing about the breast pump is that I wish I had some more Medela bottles and lids and stuff, because whenever I'm using the Medela breast pump, I have to always transfer the milk to an Avent bottle because he's using Avent bottles, which are actually amazing, by the way. I would seriously recommend Avent bottles. They're really easy to use. They're slow flow. Well, the teats that we got are slow flow, the size 1. And they have a really wide teat, which helps with like colic and all that sort of thing, and less wind and all that sort of thing. So the Avent bottles are actually really good. I would recommend, if you're going to go Avent, that you get the bigger size, because the 120ml size, he probably won't be using that for long unless like for top up. So you might as well just go ahead and get the big ones right off the bat. I think that get bottles that match the pumps, and don't go for those generic bottles because the teats aren't very good, and yeah, just don't do it. Just go Avent because they're pretty good. I haven't tried things like Tommy Tippy or anything like that, but I like the Avent. Maternity bras, I've actually found that they're not very useful. I would much rather just wear a really comfy bra that I can just pull down or pull up rather than a nursing bra. Basically, the clips get in the way for him to feed, and there's just a lot more shuffling and maneuvering of the cover flap thing than I think is necessary, and I just really hate nursing bras, to be honest. They're just really uncomfortable, they're tight on me, they don't really fit me. So yeah, I would not go a nursing bra again unless it was like tailor-made or the right size or whatever. But even then, the clip, when you fold it down, it gets trapped and you have to tuck it under, and then it's annoying and everything. So I just would not recommend nursing bras or anything like that. I think that bibs are actually really good, because it saves having to use a burp rag all the time, and you can actually get pretty fashionable bibs that can match the outfits and stuff now. So all you can do is just take the bib, put it on the baby, and then when you go to burp them, you just put the bib over your shoulder, and it saves so much hassle, and then you can just take the bib off. So here's an example of how fashionable a bib can be. And on a newborn, they're actually pretty big. So these bibs are about as big as my burping cloth is anyway. So what's the point having an extra rag when you can just stick a bib on and change it over? So I think that bibs are the way to go. And I wish that we were using bibs from when he was a newborn, because it would have been so much easier. But yeah, don't get the bibs with strings and stuff, because then you've got an extra safety hazard. So it's really good. As I mentioned, the pacifiers and the dummies is a dummy string. Now I was hesitant at first to use these, but my neighbour reassured me and said that she was using them on her sons from birth. And we got 2 dummy strings, and they're actually really handy. Like, I had no idea how handy they would be, but since Liam keeps shoving his dummy out and stuff and throwing it on the floor, it saves from having to sterilize it and find it and pick it up all the time, because you can just attach it to their clothing pockets or to their bib or something like that. And yeah, as long as the string isn't too long to get wrapped around the baby's neck, they're absolutely fine, and they're really, really handy. I find that baby towels are quite handy. At first I thought they were a bit of a gimmick, but it saves having to wrap a baby in a normal sized towel, and hand towels and stuff just aren't really big enough for a baby. So I actually think baby towels are really handy, and they look super, super cute in the hood. So yeah, definitely get some baby towels. I think 5 to 8 would be good, but that's because I rewash the towel after each go, which is probably silly, but that's just... With breast pads, I can sort of take it or leave it. Since I don't really like to wear bras at night that much, I would rather just wake up in a puddle and be comfortable at night rather than wear a bra, to be honest. And I don't find that wearing a bra actually helps with milk production. So breast pads and breast shields and stuff like that. The breast shields are okay if you want to save your milk. If you're somebody that doesn't really produce much milk, I would say that the breast shields are good, except my nipples are quite big, so they get stuck in the shield, and it actually sometimes gets painful, and sometimes it reduces the milk flow. So it's just up to you whether you want to use them or not. But if you're somebody whose nipples are erect and stuff, you might want to invest in some nipple pads or nipple shields. By shield, in this case, I'm talking about the shield that covers the nipple, not the one that you feed through, by the way. In the previous thing I was talking about shields, I was talking about the one you feed through, just to avoid any confusion there. I know there's lots of different things that are called the same thing. So yeah, basically I will wear breast pads if I'm going to work for a really long shift or something, just to prevent leakage, but other than that I don't really wear them, to be honest. And when I'm at home with Liam, I rarely even wear a bra unless I'm going out or I'm expecting company. So I didn't think of this, but I suppose rattle socks can double as finger puppets to entertain your baby. So that's cute. I would recommend portable change mats. We haven't really used them yet because we haven't gone out that much, and everywhere we've gone, we've either not had to change the baby or there's been appropriate equipment there. But I would definitely invest in a nappy bag that had one, or just a portable change mat that you can put in the boot of the car or something like that, because I just think it's really, really good. Out and about, I would seriously recommend either using baby sunscreen or covering the pram with a muslin wrap or something, just to avoid sunburn, because we did sunburn him once and it wasn't that good and I was panicky and stuff. So I would recommend that. As for bathing lotion, I really recommend the baby top to toe wash. That's what my mother carer suggested, and we haven't really tried anything else, but it seems to work really, really well. As for baby massage oils and stuff, we're being a bit wary because he had baby acne before. As for the baby monitor, we used it for the first week, maybe first week and a half, but since then we haven't really used it because he's quite vocal and he's very, very strong. So when he's in his room or even on the other side of the house, we can hear him. So we do not need a baby monitor at all. It would be nice if we had one where we could see him, but that's just a luxury. It's not really a need. The other thing is a Ergo baby wrap thing. I think that's what it's called. The Ergo baby wraps I find are quite weird to put on. I really did not like them. They had this weird sack part that didn't seem to do anything, and he just kept getting out of it, so I really didn't like those. But I loved the Love to Dream swaddles. I thought they were amazing, and I want to get some more if I can, but it's probably too late now. I haven't used it yet, but I think that the baby book would be really, really good, but I haven't used it yet.
Table. Truck. Cat too.
He's too young for those. At that, my batteries and the camera died. The other thing that I would recommend is going to Big W or a similar shop and getting yourself a curved U pillow, because those boppy pillows just are not big enough, and I think that the U-pillows are really luxurious and comfortable and great. So I would really recommend getting yourself one of those because they're really, really good. Alright guys, sorry again about that time. The card was full. Okay, so as for a laundry hamper, I think that they're good, but I probably didn't need to go all out and get this really, really fancy schmancy one. But it looks cool, so hey, whatever. But yeah, laundry hampers definitely. The diaper bin is okay. I've kind of stopped using it though because changing the bags is just so annoying. And if you don't tailor it to take normal garbage bags, the bags are just so expensive. So I would not recommend those. As for these wipes containers, I think they're actually really, really good. So go to Woolworths or whatever and go and get yourself a Huggies wipes box, and then you can just buy the wipes and reuse the box. I think they're so handy. Yeah. A spray bottle. We were using the spray bottles early, but we haven't really been using them. But if you just wanted to use like toilet paper or something to wipe them with, you can just use a spray bottle and either a Chuck's wipe or toilet paper to wipe them with, rather than going out and buying the wipes. And you can also use them with tissues just to wipe stuff off their faces or whatever. As for bum rash cream, I think that they're pretty good. We've been using Curash and Pseudo Cream, and both of those have been fine on Liam. We haven't really used any other brands, although we've been given upteen billion zillion different brands, but those are the two that we've been using. These S26 formula pouches, we found these at the doctor's office when he had his latest checkup at 6 weeks. And we didn't even know they existed, but they're really, really great for the nappy bag. You can just put them in and you can make the bottle up as you go. Each sachet is one feed for a newborn. And I think they're pretty amazing because, yeah, they're so portable. All you need is to have the bottle with water, so therefore you're not wasting the formula if he doesn't need it. Yeah, they're just super, super great. So I hope that I can find these in shops because they're really good. These nappy bags are really great if he does a really, really, really stinky poo and you don't want it to smell. So especially if you're out and about, or if you don't have a nappy genius bin or whatever, you can just stick the dirties in these bags, and they're really good. And they're really cheap as well. You can probably buy like 200 for like $2. So they're pretty. The other thing is, some of the injections and stuff that the babies are given and stuff, they actually cause live viruses. So at some points you may need to put the nappies in those bags anyway, so just go and get yourself some because they're really handy. As for baby powder, if I had a girl, I would not use baby powder at all because they can cause ovarian cancers and all kinds of bad things like that. But because Liam's a boy, I use baby powder really, really sporadically, just if he's just had a bath and he's kind of a bit sticky. I've only used baby powder on him about 3 times. And I always try and avoid the face because, as I said, baby powder isn't really that safe. If you want to go a safe option, I would suggest like corn flour or plain flour, something like that, you know. I'm not really sure because I haven't used them, but I think that they are pretty good. I'd extremely recommend is hand sanitizer. When Liam was in the special care nursery, they super highly encouraged the use of sanitizer between feeds, before bath time, when changing, and basically if you're going to go into contact with any newborn, you need hand sanitizer, and be very, very vigilant with it. Make sure that everybody that visits the baby has hand sanitizer on and that they're not dirty, that they don't have any germs or anything. So I'm a bit more lenient with the hand sanitizer these days because he is almost 3 weeks old. But I still use it if I've, like, say I've just changed him, he's done a wee or something. Before I feed, I will always try and sanitize my hands when I remember. Although we've been using the Dettol sanitizer and it smells really weird. And if I get it on my hands and then I try and eat something, it tastes really gross. So I probably wouldn't get the Dettol one for that. I would just get like a regular hand sanitizer. But apart from that, it's been really good. As for these cloth books, although he's a bit young for them at the moment, I think they're going to be a really good investment because you can just chuck them in the toy box. It encourages them to look at books. And this particular one that we got from IKEA, has different textures. So each page has an animal and a different texture. So like fur or crinkly stuff or felt or plastic. So I've been loving this book. It's really, really good. So even though it costs like $12.95 and it has a mirror on the back as well, I think it's a really, really good investment. As for these bottle sterilizer things, this one's from Event. I think they're handy, but I don't think that they're all they're cracked up to be, because seriously, you can just boil the bottle in a saucepan. I don't really think that you needed to go out and buy this Event sterilizer, but it's handy. You can just stick it in the microwave. It takes like 5 minutes to do. Yeah, so if you really want to be all fancy schmancy, go out and buy one of those. They're okay, but I don't think that they're all that cracked up to be, because you can just use a pan anyway. Although a pan is like slower and stuff. But I would not buy one of those electric bottle warmers. We got one of those and it just has not been any good. So I would not recommend that. Although there's obviously no proof of it helping, is to get yourself some baby prenatal vitamins, which double as breastfeeding vitamins. The other thing is domperidone. That is super good if you are having issues with breast milk and that sort of thing. So exercise is pretty good after you've given birth. It helps get your body back in shape, so I've heard. And ankle weights and stuff like that. It's a bit out of focus, but I would recommend getting your husband a present for when he comes to the hospital and sees the baby and you have a newborn and everything. I would just recommend giving your husband a present, because hey, he helped to create this anyway, and people always give the mother gifts, but nobody ever thinks to give the father a gift. So just get your husband or boyfriend or significant other a gift while they're looking after you, because hey, they're a father as well. They're entitled to a present unless they're like unless they're a dropkick. So. Darrow, yeah. Something else we've learned, and he really reacts to this, is to get some different textures and sounds for him to explore with. So I talked about textures with the book, but you can get some keys to jingle. You can, you know, rub some cotton balls together. Any old receipts or bits of paper you can crinkle up, and try and get the baby to hold them as well so they can feel and hear the textures, as that's really been helping him explore sounds and touch and all that sort of thing. So guys, if you didn't know, putting your finger in the baby's mouth is a great way to calm them down. It's inexpensive, in fact it's free, and it takes little to no effort. So just make sure that your fingernail is facing toward the baby's tongue, otherwise it's going to scratch on their palate and they won't like it. And then you can transition the dummy in and everything is peachy again. So anyway, one thing that me and my husband did notice when we were planning a baby's name is that different books have different baby meanings for different names.